Hey beauties, it's Riri. If you're new here, I'm an over 40 lover of all things beauty and I love showcasing indie brands here on my channel. Speaking of indie brands, today it's all about the Fantasy Cosmetica Harvest of Souls palette. I have not even swatched this yet. I love their Druid palette and I have spoken highly of them since I tried that palette. So of course, when they launched this, I did pick this one up. Here is the color story. I will definitely do swatches for y'all. And then we're gonna create a look. And I like that this looks super beginner friendly. I speak to this often where you can kind of come in here and do these together. I feel like these look really nice together. These would pair great with these greens. I feel like it's laid out in a way that lends itself to being very beginner friendly. So I will do some swatches. I of course will start from here and we will go across. We have Ambition, Schemes, which feels very, very smooth. Also has a little bit of flakiness to it. We have Patience, and we have Eternal. Ooh, those are, y'all know I love greens. Like, look, I am a sucker for greens, always. I find that their formula, it blends well, it layers well, and most importantly for me, and I talk about this all the time, this one's got a little bit of chunkiness to it. The staying power for me is there. Oh my gosh. That is so freaking sparkly in person. Hopefully the swatches will do it justice for y'all. Next up are Lick, hopefully I'm saying that right, L-I-C-H, Sacrifice, Ensnare, and Ancient. Everything feels very, very smooth again. The shimmers are having a little bit of like texture to them, a little bit of like flakiness. I find that with most of those types of formulas though, they do smooth out beautifully on the lids. And I like that there's a little bit of lightness here. There's enough depth that I can build up a look, which is what what my preference is. Let me get a little bit more of Ancient. Ooh, very pretty. Yeah, hopefully you can see even kind of up close. There's just a little bit of texture to these. Next up are Souls, Undead, Obsession, and Poison. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. This one feels incredibly smooth, like very, very, very smooth. Ooh, okay. Swatching beautifully. Happy so far. If you've tried any of their palettes, let me know which one is your favorite. And are you going to be picking this one up? Oh my gosh. Kind of feel like I know what I'm going to do. That could change though. And last up we have Phylactery, Immortality, Knowledge, and Necromancer. I do wish there was maybe one more lighter shade and then also an inner corner shade. I might be able to use Souls for an inner corner shade, and that's a preference of mine. That's just personal preference. I never mind bringing in another palette, and a palette being more of a companion palette, if you will. Wow, 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 wow. Ooh, you guys, I love this color story. All right, hopefully the swatches were helpful to you. This may not go together. In my mind it does, and what I'm seeing in my brain does. So if this doesn't work out, you win some, you lose some. But my plan, I think, is to go in with Sacrifice, and I'm going to keep that really low and build it up to like full opacity. I'm going to blend it out with Ambition, maybe do like Poison on the inner corner, and then I want to slap this all over my lid. That's the plan. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm gonna go into Sacrifice with a pencil style brush. I'm going to keep this very, very low so I have room to kind of spread that out. And I do not have on my Alter Ego eyeshadow base that was gifted. You could also, if you were going to recreate this look, you could do the exact opposite of what I'm doing. You could start with the lighter shade and then kind of blend downward from there and do this shade last and really add, you know, the opacity and the, you know, the deepness and richness that you are looking for. So far, so good. And I'm gonna keep this probably in like the outer third-ish. Like I said, I feel like, you know, their shadows blend really well. And I like, even with this, as like kind of rich and as intense as this is, you can kind of see like right here at the edges, it's already kind of like self-blending, if you will, meaning you could literally use this particular shade, and I love shades like these, depending on how you blend it, what type of brushes you use. That one particular shade could literally look like you're using 3 or 4 different shades. So blending beautifully thus far. I feel like I am able to reach the pan color, which is important to me as well. And I'm gonna try to be slightly more careful this time because I do already have my base done. So I really wanna be cautious to not like go too far down. Normally I don't really have to worry about that. I'm gonna pick up another really small pencil brush. This is a little bit smaller than that one. This one was a Makeup Geek Outer V brush. This one is a Morphe, no clue. I'm gonna go into Ambition, and again, this may not look good, we'll see what happens. And I'm going to kiss the edge, and I'm just going to place it down first, just like I was kind of just placing the previous shade. Not too worried about blending or anything. I would kind of do all that at the end. Okay, I'm actually liking that together. Thank goodness. And I like that this is like a little bit kind of dark and moody, but there's also like, there's some richness. There's a little bit of like grunge in here. I really like a color story like this. It's a little bit more different. It's a little bit more unique to something that I have in my collection. Now from here, I am going to start with teeny tiny circular motions. And I'm going to come almost all the way up. I'm going to save a little bit of room just in case I maybe want to add something else on top of that. And I think I'm going to pull this shade all the way in. Again, reaching full pan color. So far, so good, you guys. So far, so good. And I love these shades. You guys know that. I love these like murky, you know, kind of earthy, grungy shades. I love them. All right, I feel like I'm happy here. Going back in with that original brush, back into Sacrifice. And adding the other shade. I sacrificed a little bit of that shade. So I'm going to kind of reinforce that, bring a little bit of that back in. I feel like it's looking a little muddy through here. That is not, you know, the eyeshadow, I don't think. I think it's just my choice in shades. I don't care though. Look, when it comes together, y'all, I think it'll all look pretty darn good. I'm going to switch my brush. I feel like that one is a little too dense for me, so I'm still on a pencil brush, but this one's slightly more flimsy, if that makes any sense. Oh yeah, there we go. And that's a good rule of thumb too, like if you are trying, and with anything, eyeshadows, your base, your blush, if you're just, you know, you're in your makeup process and you're like, dude, things are not looking good, things are not blending out well, things are not looking maybe as good as I would like for them to, try different brushes. Try different techniques as well. You can go in with small circular motions. You can do windshield wiper motions. All right. And then now from here, I'm basically just going to keep going back and forth with both of these shades just to make sure that I have the gradient that I am looking for. I'm going to go in that same exact brush and go into Poison. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, kind of kiss the edges ever so softly. Again, I'm just aiming for a nice blend, a nice gradient here. All right, I'm thrilled. I think it's working great. And then I'm going to go into the shade Poison and pop that on the inner corner as well. I like to do a matte inner corner. I like, you know, shimmery, shiny, open, light, bright, but I also really, really love to do like a little pop of neon in the inner corner. I ain't mad at it, you guys. Now I'm gonna go into Souls. Hopefully this looks as good as I'm imagining it will. And with shades like these, because there's like a little bit of like a translucent property to this, it's going to look different right here, like on my bare skin, than it's going to look out here. And I do want to save some, like I still want like the intensity out here. Oh, very pretty. And this is a little bit more bluey than I probably should have done for this eye look, but you know, it's okay. I'm not mad at it, you guys. Very pretty. And I have a preference to just use my finger for like shimmer and metallic shades, but I typically use my finger. You can go in with a sponge tip applicator, a silicone applicator, you can wet your brush, so on and so forth. I am going to clean this up just a little bit. Let me do the other eye and I'll come back and finish with you guys. All right, here's where we are at. You can see I was really careful this time to not like muddy them up together. I actually really love this. Thank goodness, because I was scared, y'all. I was a little bit nervous. I'm going to go into a flat, firm smudger type brush. I'm going to go back into Sacrifice, and I am going to put that on the lower lash line. And I like to kind of stamp in place first, kind of like right up against the lashes. And then I will kind of blend that out a little bit. And now I really want to use another shimmer shade. I think, let me see. We have Ensnare and Immortality. I think I'm going to go Ensnare, which is this one right here. I'm going to use that same exact brush and just tap it off. I always keep a little towel down here, you guys. I'm going to see how well this picks up. I may have to go in with a regular sponge tip applicator, or I may have to wet my brush. We'll see what happens. Oh, wow. You guys, that looks incredible. I'm thrilled. Look, I love when it turns out how I like imagine it in my mind, because, you know, sometimes it doesn't turn out as good as I anticipate. I am going to finish up with some ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. This is in Wild Idea. It is a multi-chrome. And then I'm going to toss on some of the Milk Makeup Kush High Roll Mascara. Let me do that. We'll come back and do lips. All right, here's where we are at. And I want to note too, like when I first got this, this was gifted from Milk Makeup. It was just okay, but now that it's kind of dried out just a little bit, like I really like it. I also did take kind of a flimsy brush and I went in with Souls to do my highlighter. Loving. And for my lips, I'm literally, you guys, gonna do just a nude. I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Lip Contour in Sandy Beige first. And then I'm going to wrap it up with the Il Makiage lipstick, the Lip Service Power Play. And then I'll do my liner because very clearly I forgot when I was not with you guys. Yes, please. That is perfect. All right, I will bring you guys a little bit closer. And here is the completed look. Now, of course, you could go in. I think I am really quickly going to do that while I'm going to give you guys some pointers. You can go in with a shimmer shade, which I'm going to go back into Souls. I'm just kind of obsessed with that. And I'm going to pop it right here. You could do some gemstones. You could do some really pretty lashes. You could go in and do a graphic liner, something like that. Woo, you guys. When I first started, I was getting a little bit nervous, but now that it's done, I think it's absolutely stunning. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe and join my beauty family. I'd love to have you here. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you do enjoy. It really helps push me out into that little algorithm, y'all, and that algorithm hates me, okay? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you to my beautiful channel members. I love you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.